Hi guys. This week, Universal Studios finally dropped the first trailer for the new Jurassic Park flick, aptly subtitled Rebirth. Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali are set to storm theaters this summer alongside some prehistoric beasts. And right now, we're diving deep into that trailer. We'll answer the burning question: what on earth was that strange dinosaur we saw? And we'll run through the plot of the whole film. So grab your seats because, as always, it's going to be a wild ride. Finally, we've got our first real look at the dinosaurs, new characters, and the main setup. Now, let's talk about the elephant tour, should I say. The dinosaur in the room. The mutant T-Rex, or D-Rex, as fans have started calling it. This thing doesn't just look like your average dino. No, it's more like someone took a T-Rex, threw in a xenomorph from Alien, a Rancor from Star Wars, and maybe even a Hell Knight from Doom, then hit the blend button. The result? A monstrosity with 4 Armstow regular T-Rex arms and 2 smaller ones, sprouting out of its chest and a skull design that screams horror movie rather than natural history museum. Fans online were quick to point out these influences, comparing it to everything from the Death Angels in A Quiet Place to the Mutos from Godzilla. Some loved the fresh take, while others felt it strayed too far from classic dino territory. But one thing's clear: this creature is meant to scare. It's not just a dinosaur, it's an experiment gone horribly wrong. A genetic Frankenstein stitched together by overambitious scientists who clearly didn't learn their lesson after messing around with DNA. And judging by the way it looms in the shadows during the lab scene, this thing isn't just dangerous, it's unpredictable. Imagine trying to outrun something that combines the worst traits of every apex predator you've ever feared. As for the Spinosaurus, well, opinions are split wide open. On one side, you've got purists clinging to the iconic design from Jurassic Park 3, which, let's face it, has become legendary in its own right. On the other hand, there's this new trio of Spinosauruses introduced in Rebirth, each sporting a sleeker, more scientifically accurate build. Gone is the hulking beast we remember from JP3, replaced by slimmer, water-ready predators with longer snouts and shorter legs. But here's the kicker: they're teaming up with Mosasaurs, creating what looks like an aquatic tag team straight out of a nightmare. While some viewers appreciate the nod to realism, others feel it dilutes the nostalgia factor. If some viewers feel that certain details aren't accurate enough, there's always the option to watch a documentary about dinosaurs. Still, whether you love or hate the redesign, seeing 3 Spinosauruses working together feels like a power mover reminder that nature, and bad science, always finds a way. And honestly, when they square off against the classic T-Rex later in the film, you can bet everyone will forget about design debates and focus on sheer survival. Finally, let's touch on where all this chaos unfolds. A brand new island, unofficially dubbed Cine&See. Unlike Isla Nublar and Isla Sorna, this location feels like InGen's dirty little secreta dumping ground for failed experiments and abandoned projects. Think of it as Jurassic Park's equivalent of Area 51. Except instead of UFOs, you've got mutated dinosaurs roaming around. The ruins, shown in the trailer, hint at an encounter between ancient civilizations and modern biotechnological catastrophes, creating an intriguing link to the original films. Is this the logical extension of Hammond's dream turned nightmare? Or is it simply another example of humanity playing God without considering the consequences? Whatever the case, Cine&See promises to deliver both callbacks to the franchise's roots and plenty of surprises for newcomers. Plus, with rumors swirling about hidden connections to previous installments, expect Easter eggs galore. Alright mate, let's rip this open like a T-Rex tearing into a Triceratops. Picture this. We're back to the good old days of Jurassic Park, where dinosaurs weren't just oversized lizards stomping around theme parks, but actual nightmare fuel wrapped in scales and teeth. Fans are losing their minds over how Jurassic World Rebirth is pulling us back to those root sci-fi horror with a side of playing God gone wrong. You've got your secret labs, failed experiments, and creatures that look like they crawled straight out of someone's fever dream. It's not just nostalgia, it's evolution. The mutant D-Rex? That thing doesn't just scream dinosaur, it whispers alien and shouts doom. And guess what? People are loving it. They want chaos, they want tension. And this flick looks like it's serving both on a silver platter. Now, let's talk design, because these dinos aren't just bigger, they're smarter. Literally, they've taken the Spinosaurus from JP3, gave it a makeover, and now there are 3 of them prowling around like aquatic apex predators auditioning for Shark Week. Some fans are split though. Purists cling to the bulky beast from the original trilogy, while others are vibing with the sleeker, more scientifically accurate redesigns. Then you've got Quetzalcoatlus swooping in like a prehistoric B-52 bomber, looking sharper than ever. Sure, some blokes miss the chunky charm of the old models, but even they can't deny that these new designs feel fresh. It's like swapping out a rusty Ford for a Lamborghini, same concept, different execution. And, honestly, these tweaks make the whole thing feel less like a theme park ride, and more like an expedition into uncharted territory. Enter Gareth Edwards, the bloke who turned Godzilla into a walking nuclear disaster back in 2014. He's bringing his signature style to Rebirth, and trust me, it shows. This isn't just another dino romp, it's a full-blown monster movie disguised as a Jurassic flick. Remember that scene in Godzilla where everything goes quiet before all hell breaks loose? Yeah, he's doing that here too. Shadows move, something growls, and suddenly, you're questioning every life choice that led you to watch this alone at night. Fans are already drawing parallels between the D-Rex and the Hell Knight from Doom. Edwards knows how to build dread without showing his hand, and that's exactly what makes this so bloody exciting. Alright, let's sharpen our knives and carve this up like a proper heist film. Picture it, the old crew is back, but this time, they're not just breaking into some dusty museum, they're raiding the very DNA of creation itself. Fans are buzzing about how Jurassic World Rebirth feels like a return to form, thanks in no small part to David Coep stepping back into the writer's chair. You remember him, the bloke who helped craft the original Jurassic Park. He's not here to rewrite history. He's here to remind us why we fell in love with these beasts in the first place. No more globe-trotting nonsense or dinosaurs as walking tanks. This is science gone wrong. Wrapped in tension so thick you could cut it with a raptor claw. And honestly, it's bloody refreshing. Now, enter Scarlett Johansson, or should I say, Zora Bennett, leader of this ill-fated expedition. She strides onto the screen like she owns the damn jungle, bringing that same mix of wit and grit she's known for. But don't mistake her for just another action hero. There's depth here, layers beneath the bravado. Her chemistry with Mahershala Ali's Dunkana smuggler, with secrets of his own, is already sparking debates online. Some fans reckon their dynamic might be the heart of the film, while others are too busy drooling over the sheer star power on display. Either way, one thing's clear. When ScarJo steps into frame, you don't look away. Ever. But let's talk monsters, shall we? Because what's a Jurassic flick without a few abominations lurking in the shadows? The trailer hints at something darker: failed experiments left behind on an abandoned island, forgotten by everyone except Mother Nature herself. This isn't just dinosaurs escape and wreak havoc anymore. It's about consequences. These creatures weren't meant to exist, stitched together from scraps of code and ambition, and now they've evolved past anything humanity can control. Think of them as nature's revenge, served cold and with teeth. The D-Rex? That thing doesn't just roar, it whispers promises of doom. And if you think that sounds bleak, wait until you see what happens next. So picture this: Mahershala Ali strutting onto the screen like he owns the damn junglier, at least knows every backdoor route through it. He's Duncan, your smuggler for hire who doesn't do safe or sane. The bloke's got charisma dripping off him like sweat in a Suriname summer, but don't mistake that charm for softness. This isn't some wide-eyed newbie. Duncan's been around long enough to know where all the bodies are buried and probably helped bury a few himself. Fans are already buzzing about his dynamic with Zora, ScarJo, because when two alphas step into the same room, sparks fly faster than raptor claws on glass. Some reckon he might be the wild card of the group, a man whose loyalties could shift quicker than you can say extinction event. And if there's one thing we've learned from Richie flicks, it's that trust is as rare as a vegetarian T-Rex. Now, let's talk Quetzalcoatlus, the flying nightmare that makes birds of prey look like pigeons. Only problem? Half the fanbase thinks it looks more like a rejected Pokemon design than an actual prehistoric beast. See, the thing about Quetzalcoatlus is that it's always had an identity crisis. Is it supposed to soar majestically over the landscape? Or swoop down and rip your face off? Dominion gave us one version, all sleek lines and Hollywood glitz, while Rebirth seems to have gone full paleontologist's wet dream by shrinking its size but beefing up its realism. Naturally, the forums are ablaze with comparisons, arguments, and enough nitpicking to fill a PhD thesis. But here's the kicker: it works. Because whether you love it or hate it, this new Quetz has personality. It's not just another CGI monster, it's a statement. A reminder that nature didn't build these creatures to play nice. And then there's the elephant, or should I say Spinosaurus, in the room. Jurassic Park 4. For years, fans have been screaming into the void about what could have been. Remember those early concepts? Human dino hybrids, darker tones, experiments gone wrong, all the good stuff Spielberg allegedly axed because someone upstairs decided audiences weren't ready for their nightmares to come true. Well, guess what? Rebirth smells like redemption wrapped in nostalgia. People are calling it JP4 done right, and they're not wrong. The mutant D-Rex lurking in the shadows feels like a love letter to those scrapped ideas, except now it's got sharper teeth and better lighting. If nothing else, this film proves one thing. Sometimes it takes 20 years and a couple of misfires to circle back to greatness. Call it fate, call it luck, or just call it smart filmmaking, but either way, it's bloody brilliant. So picture this. A bunch of eggheads playing God, stitching together DNA like it's some kind of twisted science fair project. And what do you think happens? Chaos. Absolute chaos. The mutant D-Rex isn't just a monster, it's a warning sign. A big neon billboard screaming, "Hey, maybe don't mess with nature, unless you want your face chewed off." Fans are eating this up because it ties back to the core theme of the franchise. Every time humanity tries to outsmart biology, things go sideways faster than a drunk raptor on roller skates. This isn't just about dinosaurs anymore. It's about ethics, consequences, and the fact that sometimes Mother Nature doesn't take kindly to being tampered with. Lesson learned? Probably not. But hey, at least it makes for one hell of a movie. Now, here's where things get interesting some. Fans are drawing parallels between the mutant beast and monsterverse kaiju. Why? Because both scream apocalypse while stomping through cities or jungles, in this case. Sure, the D-Rex might not have atomic breath or a vendetta against skyscrapers, but its design screams Hell Knight meets Xenomorph. That mix of horror and spectacle feels ripped straight out of Godzilla's playbook. People love it because it adds a new layer to Jurassic lore, blending sci-fi madness with classic dino thrills. Call it Jurassic Park meets Pacific Rim if you will, but either way, it's clear the filmmakers wanted to push boundaries without losing sight of what made us fall in love with these prehistoric beasts in the first place. As for the humor and dialogue in the trailer, well, opinions are split faster than a velociraptor chasing down lunch. Some folks reckon the jokes land perfectly, balancing tension with levity like a well-timed punchline. Others? Not so much, they're calling it clunky, saying it disrupts the flow like a misplaced Dilophosaurus in a T-Rex fight. But credit where it's due, the writers nailed the tone most of the time, giving us quips sharp enough to cut bone while keeping the stakes high. It's not Shakespeare, thank God, but it works. After all, nobody wants a paleontologist monologuing about extinction rates when there's a mutated terror snapping at their heels. Sometimes, less is more, and this script seems to know exactly when to shut up and let the dinos roar. Finally, let's talk Easter eggs because no Jurassic flick would be complete without them. Did anyone else catch the blink? And you'll miss it moment with the Dilophosaurus? Yeah, that little guy's back, spitting venom and looking as deadly as ever. Then, there's the Quetzalcoatlus debate, which has half the internet arguing over whether it should have been bigger, smaller, or just left alone entirely. And don't even get me started on the Spinosaurus redesign. That thing looks like someone photoshopped an iguana onto a boat. But hey, details matter, right? These tiny touches remind us why we keep coming back to this franchise. It's not just about the monsters, it's about the world they inhabit. Every fossil, every shadow, every screech tells a story, and damn, does it make you want to stick around for the sequel? Right, listen up you lovely bunch of film fanatics, you've made it to the end, which means either you're genuinely hooked or you've got nothing better to do. Either way, cheers for sticking around. We appreciate it more than a raptor appreciates an open buffet. Now, here's the deal. If you liked what you saw, and let's be honest, who wouldn't? Why not hit that subscribe button? It's free, it's easy, and frankly, it keeps us off the streets and out of trouble. Oh, and don't forget to smash that like button while you're at it. It's the digital equivalent of tipping your hat to someone who's just handed you a pint. And hey, sharing is caring. So sling this video over to your mates, your mom, your dog, anyone who fancies themselves as the next big dinosaur expert. But wait, before you bugger off, we've got another cracker lined up for you, a deep dive into the latest trailers dropping faster than a Spinosaurus chasing its lunch. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's keep the good times rolling. Cheers, folks, you're absolute legends.